Have you ever wondered why peace feels so hard to find? Why, no matter how much you achieve, how many friends you have, or how far you run, you still carry a storm inside your head? It's not the noise outside that steals your peace. It's the noise inside. The endless thoughts, the overthinking, the regrets, the what-ifs, and the I should have that play on repeat. You try to fix it by doing more, by explaining yourself, by pleasing others, by waiting for the perfect moment to finally feel calm. But here's the truth no one tells you. Peace doesn't come from adding more to your life. It comes from silently removing what's been draining you all along. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that has survived for centuries, teaches us that peace isn't about controlling the world. It's about controlling our reactions to it. And the first step to peace isn't loud. It's silent. It's removing the people, habits, and thoughts that keep you stuck in cycles of frustration and pain. In this video, I'm going to share 8 powerful things you must eliminate quietly if you truly want peace. No drama, no explanations, just freedom. Stay with me until the end, because what you hear today may change the way you live tomorrow. Number 1. Eliminate the need to explain everything. Let me ask you something. Have you ever caught yourself explaining why you made a decision over and over to people who don't really need to know? Maybe you decided to leave a job, end a relationship, start a new habit, or even just take a break for your mental health. And yet, before you could even enjoy the relief of that decision, you were already caught up in explaining it to friends, family, co-workers, sometimes even strangers online. Here's the truth. The constant need to explain yourself is one of the biggest thieves of peace. Why? Because when you explain everything, you start living for other people's approval instead of your own truth. You're no longer centered in your own life. You're pulled into their opinions, their judgments, their expectations. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said something powerful. Don't explain what needs to be done. Just do it. Let that sink in for a moment. Imagine how much lighter your life would feel if you stopped giving explanations for every little choice you make. For example, maybe you decide to switch careers because you're no longer passionate about your work. But instead of quietly focusing on your next step, you spend hours justifying it to people. Here's why I'm doing this. Here's why now is the right time. Here's why it's going to work. Or maybe you're setting boundaries in a friendship that's been draining you. But instead of holding that boundary with quiet strength, you feel the need to explain, defend, and reassure the other person. It's not you, it's me. I just need space. I hope you understand. Sound familiar? Here's what happens when you live this way. The more you explain, the more you drift away from what really matters. The action itself. Instead of walking your path, you're standing on the side of the road giving a press conference. And let me tell you, most people don't need or even want a long explanation. The people who truly care about you will respect your choices, even when they don't fully understand them. The people who don't respect you, well, no explanation will ever satisfy them. Now, this doesn't mean you should become cold, distant, or secretive. It means you give yourself permission to live authentically without over-explaining your every move. Think about a time when you followed through on something important without explaining it to everyone. Maybe you took a quiet walk to clear your head. Maybe you made a decision to improve your health, cut back on commitments, or finally pursue that creative project you've been dreaming about. How did that feel? Chances are it felt freeing. That's the kind of freedom Stoicism invites us into. The freedom to be guided by your own values, not other people's expectations. So here's a practical exercise. The next time you feel the urge to explain a decision, pause. Ask yourself, am I explaining this because I want to share it, or because I feel guilty or insecure? If it's the second, try this. Instead of explaining, simply state your decision calmly and move on. You might say, I've decided to change my schedule. I won't be able to attend that event. I'm focusing on something new right now. No long backstory, no apologies, no nervous laughing, just quiet strength. And remember, peace lives in that quiet strength. When you cut back on explanations, you save your energy for what really matters: living, learning, and growing. You stop trying to control what others think, and you start focusing on what you know is right for you. Marcus Aurelius, another great Stoic, once said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." For us today, that means the best revenge against a world obsessed with noise and validation is to live in quiet, focused action. Be so rooted in your purpose that you don't need to shout it. Let your actions speak. Let your life speak. So, as you walk into the next chapter of your life, remember this: you don't need permission to live the life you want. You don't need to hold a press conference for every change you make. You don't need to explain yourself to people who aren't living your life. You just need to trust yourself. Be silent, be steady, and keep moving forward. Because peace isn't in the noise. Peace is in the silence. Number 2. Eliminate people who are only around when they need you. Let's get real for a moment. Have you ever noticed how some people in your life only seem to show up when they need something from you? Maybe it's a friend who only calls when they need a favor, or a family member who only reaches out when they're in trouble, but when you need support, they're nowhere to be found. Or maybe it's that coworker who's all smiles when they need your help on a project, but forgets you exist the moment their work is done. Sound familiar? Here's the hard truth. If you want peace, you need to quietly step away from relationships that only take and never give. I know this isn't easy to hear. We all want to believe the best in people. We want to think that if we just give a little more, they'll finally show up for us the way we show up for them. But the Stoics remind us of something important. The quality of your life depends on the quality of your relationships. Think about it this way. Imagine you're carrying a backpack. Every time someone leans on you for support, you add a little weight to that backpack. At first it's fine, you're strong, you can handle it. But when you keep carrying people who don't carry you in return, eventually that backpack gets too heavy. You're drained, exhausted, and wondering why you feel so burned out. Here's the thing. Not every relationship deserves a front row seat in your life. Not everyone who wants access to you deserves access. And the most powerful part, you don't need to announce it. You don't need to have a dramatic conversation or make a public declaration. You can simply step back, quietly, calmly, without resentment. For example, let's say you have a friend who only calls you when they're in crisis. They need advice, they need help moving, they need you to bail them out. But when you call, they're too busy or unavailable. Instead of confronting them with a long speech, just start limiting your availability. Don't rush to answer every call. Don't drop everything to rescue them. And when they notice the shift, stay calm. You don't owe anyone an explanation for protecting your peace. Another example, maybe you're constantly helping out at work, picking up extra tasks, covering shifts, staying late, but no one's there when you need backup. Start setting quiet boundaries. Say, "I'm not available this time," without guilt. Practice protecting your time and energy without making it a big deal. Remember this. People who genuinely care about you will understand when you need space. They will respect your boundaries, even if they don't fully understand them. And the people who get upset when you set boundaries, they're the ones who are benefiting from you not having any. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good person should be. Be one." Being a good person doesn't mean being a doormat. It means being clear on your values, protecting your energy, and showing up fully for the people who matter most. Here's a practical tip you can try this week. Make a list of the relationships in your life. Ask yourself, who leaves me feeling drained after every interaction? Who only reaches out when they need something? Who is there for me, not just in good times, but in hard times too? Then, instead of cutting people off dramatically, just start shifting your focus. Invest your time and energy in the people who show up for you. Give less to the people who only take. And here's the beautiful part. When you clear space in your life, you make room for better relationships to grow. You make room for peace, for joy, for connection that actually fills you up instead of empties you out. So, to sum it up, you don't have to explain, justify, or argue when you decide to protect your peace. Just quietly step away from people who only come around when it's convenient for them. Because at the end of the day, your peace matters. And you deserve relationships that lift you up, not ones that weigh you down. Number 3, eliminate the fear of disappointing others. Let's be honest. How many times have you said yes when deep down you wanted to scream no? How many times have you gone along with something? A party, a favor, a commitment. Not because you wanted to, but because you were terrified of disappointing someone. If you're like most of us, you've probably done it more times than you can count. Here's the thing. The fear of disappointing others is one of the heaviest weights we carry in life. It's a silent thief that takes your time, your energy, your dreams, and replaces them with anxiety, resentment, and burnout. We've been taught from a young age that being good means making people happy. Be the perfect student, the perfect friend, the perfect partner, the perfect employee. Never rock the boat. Never say no. Always be available. But here's the truth that Stoicism teaches us. You are not here to fulfill other people's expectations. You are here to live your life according to your own values. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, it is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live. Think about that. When you live your life trying to avoid disappointing others, you stop living for yourself. You become an actor in someone else's script. Let me give you a real-life example. Maybe you've been stuck in a career that no longer excites you, but you're afraid to leave because you don't want to disappoint your parents or your boss. Or maybe you keep a friendship alive that drains you, just because you're afraid of hurting the other person's feelings. Or maybe you stay in a relationship that no longer fits because you're terrified of breaking someone's heart. Here's what happens when you live this way. You disappoint the one person you can't afford to lose, yourself. And here's the hard but freeing truth. You will disappoint people when you start living authentically. There's no way around it. Some people won't understand your choices. Some will get upset, some will walk away. But the right people, the people who truly love and respect you, they will stay. They will adjust, they will grow with you. So how do you begin eliminating the fear of disappointing others? Start small. The next time someone asks you to do something you don't want to do, pause. Notice that anxious, tight feeling in your chest. Ask yourself, am I about to say yes out of love or out of fear? If it's fear, practice saying no. Calmly, kindly, but firmly. You might say, thanks for thinking of me, but I'm not able to do that right now. Or I appreciate the offer, but I'm going to pass this time. No long-winded explanation, no apologizing for having needs. Just clear, quiet boundaries. And when that wave of guilt rises up, because it will, remind yourself, disappointing someone else is not the same as failing them. Taking care of myself is not selfish, it's necessary. Here's another idea. Make a list of areas in your life where you're people-pleasing at your own expense. Maybe it's at work. Maybe it's in family obligations. Maybe it's in social situations. Then choose one small place this week to practice a courageous no. Remember, the more you practice, the stronger you become. The more you honor your own truth, the more peace you will find. And let me tell you something beautiful. When you stop being afraid of disappointing people, you give them the opportunity to meet the real you. Not the version of you that's edited and filtered to please them, but the true, whole, authentic you. That's where real connection happens. That's where peace begins. So, as you move forward, keep this in mind. You were not put on this earth to be liked by everyone. You were put here to live fully, bravely, and honestly. And sometimes that means disappointing people in order to stay true to yourself. And that, my friend, is not selfish. That's freedom. Number 4, eliminate waiting for the perfect moment. Let me ask you a question. How many dreams have you delayed because you were waiting for the perfect time? How many times have you told yourself, I'll start when I'm ready? Or, I'll take action when the timing is right? Here's the truth that most of us don't like to admit. The perfect moment doesn't exist. We wait to change careers until we're more qualified. We wait to travel until we have enough money. We wait to tell someone we love them until we're sure they'll say it back. We wait to chase our dreams until we feel 100% confident, which, let's be honest, rarely ever happens. And while we wait, life keeps moving. Days turn into weeks. Weeks turn into months. Months turn into years. And one day we look back and realize that we've been standing still, trapped in a waiting room of our own making. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do, and your life will go smoothly." In other words, stop waiting for the stars to align. Start where you are with what you have right now. Let me share a real-world example. Maybe you've been wanting to start your own business. You've read the books, watched the videos, listened to the podcasts, but you tell yourself you're not ready. You need more money, more time, more connections. So you wait. A year passes, then 5, and before you know it, someone else has launched the same idea you had, the one you were too scared to start. Or maybe you've been wanting to get healthier, to start exercising, to eat better, to take care of yourself. But you keep waiting for the right time. After the holidays, once work slows down, when the kids are older. Here's the wake-up call. There will always be something in the way if you let it. There will always be a reason to wait. But you don't need to wait for everything to be perfect. You just need to begin. Here's the shift Stoicism invites us to make. Instead of trying to control every condition, control your response. Instead of wishing things were easier, build the resilience to start anyway. Marcus Aurelius put it beautifully. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. It's a reminder that time is precious. We are not guaranteed thousands of tomorrows, and while that can feel scary, it's also incredibly motivating. So, how do you put this into practice? Start small. If you've been waiting to switch careers, take one step today. Update your resume, send one email, schedule one informational interview. If you've been waiting to get healthier, go for a 10-minute walk or make one nourishing meal. If you've been waiting to start a creative project, open a blank document and write one paragraph, sketch one idea, record one voice memo. Don't overthink it. Don't try to plan the next 10 years. Just take the next small step, and when fear shows up, because it will, remind yourself, fear is not a stop sign. Fear is a compass. It points you toward what matters. Here's another tip. Tell yourself, I am someone who starts before I feel ready. Say it out loud. Let it become your identity, because the truth is, action creates clarity, not the other way around. You'll never think your way into confidence. You have to act your way there. And remember, when you take imperfect action, you're not just moving forward, you're building resilience. You're teaching yourself that you can handle discomfort, that you can adapt, that you can grow. So, as you head into the next chapter of your life, ask yourself this simple but powerful question. What have I been waiting on? And what's one small step I can take today? Because peace isn't found in the future. Peace is found in the present, when you stop waiting and start living. Number 5, eliminate self-sabotage and negative thinking. Let's get honest here. Have you ever been your own worst enemy? You know what I mean? Those moments when you're excited about something, maybe a new opportunity, a new relationship, a big goal, and just when you're about to take action, your mind starts whispering, "Who do you think you are? You're probably going to fail. you're not good enough. Sound familiar? That, my friend, is self-sabotage, and it's one of the sneakiest, most destructive forces stealing your peace. Here's the hard truth. Most of the battles we fight are not out there in the world. They're happening inside our own heads. You might look calm on the outside, but inside, you're waging war with self-doubt, insecurity, and fear. And over time, that mental noise wears you down, drains your energy, and keeps you stuck in place. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus put it simply, we are disturbed not by the things that happen, but by our opinion of the things that happen. In other words, it's not the external events that break us. It's the story we tell ourselves about those events. Let me give you an example. Imagine you apply for a job you really want. You go through the interview and afterward, you don't hear back for a few days. What does your mind do? If you're like most people, you start spinning. I must have bombed that interview. They probably didn't like me. I'm just not cut out for this. And here's the kicker. None of that is fact. It's all a story you created, and that story shapes how you feel, how you act, and whether you keep moving forward or give up. Or maybe you've wanted to start a creative project, a blog, a podcast, a side business, but every time you sit down to begin, you're not talented enough. Other people are doing it better. Why even bother? So, you procrastinate, you scroll, you distract yourself. And once again, your own thoughts have kept you from doing what matters to you. Here's what Stoicism teaches us. You don't have to believe every thought that pops into your head. You can challenge those thoughts. You can choose which ones get to stay and which ones need to go. Here's a practical exercise you can try. Step 1. Catch the negative thought. Instead of letting it run wild, pause and notice it. Oh, there's that voice telling me I'm not good enough again. Step 2. Question it. Is this thought really true? Is there evidence for it? Or is this just my fear trying to protect me from failure? Step 3. Replace it with something more useful. Not fake positivity, but a grounded, encouraging truth. For example, I'm learning as I go. Everyone starts somewhere. I can handle setbacks. This isn't about eliminating fear or doubt completely. You're human, they're going to show up. But it is about refusing to let those thoughts drive your decisions. Remember, every time you choose action over self-sabotage, you build confidence. Every time you quiet the negative voices, you strengthen your mental resilience. And over time, that creates a deep, steady peace inside you. Here's another example. Let's say you're working on improving your health. Instead of beating yourself up for every missed workout or every unhealthy meal, notice the negative self-talk and interrupt it. Tell yourself, I had a rough day, but I'm still on the path. I'm committed to progress, not perfection. That shift in mindset doesn't just improve your mood, it helps you stay consistent, which leads to real, lasting change. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's your challenge. Stop giving away your peace to the storm of negative thinking. Reclaim that power. Stand in the quiet center of your mind and remind yourself that you are capable, worthy, and resilient. So, the next time your mind tries to tear you down, remember, you have a choice. You can believe those old stories, or you can write a new one. And that, my friend, is how you move toward peace. One quiet, courageous choice at a time. Number 6, eliminate the need to be understood by everyone. Let's be real. We all want to be understood. We want people to get us, to see our heart, to understand why we do what we do. We want them to approve of our dreams, our decisions, our growth. But here's the hard truth. Not everyone will understand you. And that's okay. In fact, trying to make everyone understand you is one of the fastest ways to lose your peace. We've all been there, right? You make a change in your life. Maybe you leave a steady job to follow your passion. Maybe you set boundaries in a toxic relationship. Maybe you shift your lifestyle to prioritize your health and well-being. And suddenly people around you start asking, why would you do that? Are you sure that's a good idea? You've changed. What happened to you? And what do? We scramble to explain ourselves. We over-explain, over-justify, hoping that if we just say the right words, they'll nod their heads and say, oh, I get it now. But here's what Stoicism teaches us. You don't need to be understood by everyone to live your truth. You only need to be true to yourself. Epictetus put it this way: if someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. In other words, it's not the misunderstanding itself that steals your peace, it's your reaction to it. It's your desperate need to explain, to be validated, to be approved of. Let me share a real-life example. Imagine you decide to quit drinking. You're doing it for your health, your clarity, your peace. But at every social gathering, people keep asking, come on, why aren't you drinking? You used to be so fun. At first, you try to explain, I'm just taking a break, I want to be healthier, it's no big deal. But the more you explain, the more they push, and the more exhausted you become. Here's the shift. Instead of over-explaining, practice quiet confidence. Say calmly, no thanks. No story, no defense, no debate. Because here's the truth. The people who truly care about you don't need a long explanation. And the people who demand one, they're often uncomfortable because your growth challenges them, not because you owe them anything. Another example, let's say you're starting a business and your family doesn't get it. They tell you it's risky, irresponsible, or unrealistic. Instead of trying to convince them, let your results speak over time. Show up consistently. Do the work. Build quietly. And trust that the right people will come to understand, or they won't. And you'll still be okay. Here's a practical tip you can use this week. Notice when you feel the urge to explain yourself. Pause, take a breath, and ask yourself, is this explanation necessary, or am I just trying to manage their opinion of me? If it's the second, experiment with saying less. Let silence do the heavy lifting. You'll be amazed how much energy you save. Marcus Aurelius said, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one. In today's world, that means stop arguing, stop explaining, stop begging people to get you. Just be the person you know you're meant to be. And remember, you don't have to be rude or cold to set this boundary. You can still be kind, warm, and compassionate. But you can also hold the quiet, unshakable knowledge that you are living in alignment with your own values, and that's enough. So, the next time someone doesn't understand your path, remember this: their misunderstanding is not your emergency. Your job is not to shrink yourself to fit their expectations. Your job is to expand into who you were meant to be. Because peace isn't found in universal approval. Peace is found in self-acceptance, and when you stop needing everyone to understand you, you free yourself to live fully, bravely, and unapologetically. Number 7, eliminate resentment in silence. Let's be honest. We've all been hurt. We've all been betrayed, disappointed, or let down by someone we trusted. Maybe it was a friend who turned their back on you, a partner who broke your heart, or a coworker who took credit for your hard work. And if you're like most people, you've probably replayed that moment over and over in your mind, thinking, how could they do that to me? I didn't deserve that. I'll never forgive them. Here's the thing about resentment. It's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to get sick. You think you're punishing them by holding on to that anger, but the truth is, you're only hurting yourself. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. In other words, it's not the betrayal itself that robs you of peace. It's the resentment you carry afterward. Let me give you a real-life example. Imagine you had a close friend who disappeared from your life when you needed them most. You reached out for help, and they were nowhere to be found. Months, maybe years later, they show up again, smiling like nothing ever happened. Inside, you're boiling. You want to confront them, to tell them how much they hurt you, to make them understand. But here's the question. Would that really bring you peace? Or would it just keep you stuck in the same loop of pain? What Stoicism teaches is powerful. Forgiveness isn't about excusing what someone did. It's about freeing yourself from the chains of bitterness. Forgiveness says, I choose to stop carrying this weight. I refuse to let this pain define me. I will not let what you did control who I become. Now, this doesn't mean you have to reconcile with everyone who's hurt you. It doesn't mean you have to let toxic people back into your life. It means you quietly, internally, decide to let go of the story that keeps you trapped in anger. Here's another example. Maybe a coworker embarrassed you in a meeting, or a family member criticized you unfairly. You could spend weeks stewing over it, venting to friends, planning the perfect comeback. Or you could take a breath, remind yourself that their behavior says more about them than about you, and choose to move forward without carrying that grudge. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." In today's language, that means, don't become bitter because someone else was unfair. Don't let their negativity turn you into someone you're not. So, how do you start eliminating resentment in silence? Here's a simple practice. Step 1. Acknowledge the hurt. Be honest with yourself about how you feel. Don't stuff it down or pretend it didn't matter. Step 2. Ask yourself, is holding on to this helping me or hurting me? Most of the time, you'll realize it's only causing you pain. Step 3. Decide to let it go. Not for them, for you. You can say to yourself, I release this so I can have peace. I choose freedom over bitterness. I will not let the past own my present. And here's the beautiful part. You don't have to announce it. You don't have to tell the other person, I forgive you. You can do it quietly, just between you and your own heart. When you do that, you take back your power. You remind yourself that no one has the right to control your inner world. Rest not unless you give them that power. So as you move through life, remember this. You will be hurt. You will be disappointed. You will face unfairness. But you have a choice. Stay stuck in resentment or rise above it. Because peace isn't found in revenge. It's found in the quiet, powerful decision to set yourself free. Number 8. Eliminate habits that drain your energy. Let's talk about something most people overlook. Peace isn't just about avoiding toxic people or calming your thoughts. It's also about protecting your energy every single day. You see, many of us walk around exhausted, not because we're working too hard physically, but because we're constantly draining ourselves emotionally and mentally. The problem, we often don't notice it until we're completely burned out. The Stoics understood this deeply. Epictetus reminded us, we are disturbed not by things expect, but by the views we take of things. In modern life, we can take this even further. It's not just the events around you that exhaust you. It's the habits you allow to live quietly inside your life. So let's break this down. What kinds of habits are quietly draining you? Let me give you a few examples. Constant comparison. You wake up in the morning and immediately scroll through social media. You see someone's vacation, someone's promotion, someone's perfect relationship, and before you even get out of bed, you already feel behind, inadequate, or frustrated. Seeking constant approval. You post something online or share an idea at work, and then you spend the rest of the day checking for likes, comments, or praise. Your peace becomes dependent on someone else's validation. Saying yes when you want to say no. You overcommit to things you don't care about, just to avoid disappointing people. Your calendar fills up, your energy drains, and resentment builds. Procrastination. You avoid important tasks by distracting yourself with things that don't matter, and then carry the weight of guilt and anxiety all day long. Here's what's really powerful. Most of these habits are small. They don't scream for attention. They slip quietly into your day, unnoticed. But over time, they chip away at your well-being. Imagine you're carrying around a phone with dozens of apps running in the background. Even if you're not actively using them, they're draining your battery. Your mind works the same way. So how can you start eliminating these draining habits? Step 1. Identify them. Spend a day paying attention to when you feel tense, anxious, or depleted. What triggered it? Was it a scroll through Instagram? An unnecessary argument? A meeting you agreed to just to be polite? Step 2. Interrupt the pattern. Next time you feel the urge to compare, stop. Next time you feel the need to check for approval, pause. Next time you want to say yes out of guilt, practice saying no, even if it's uncomfortable. Step 3. Replace the habit with something nourishing. Instead of comparing, practice gratitude. Instead of seeking validation, affirm yourself. Instead of procrastinating, take one small action. Here's a real-life example. Let's say you usually spend the first 30 minutes of your day scrolling on your phone. Tomorrow, when you wake up, leave your phone in another room and start your day with a walk, journaling, or even just a few deep breaths. Notice how your mood shifts. Notice how your energy changes. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." But I'd add, it also depends on the quality of your habits. Protecting your energy doesn't require a massive life overhaul. It happens through small, quiet choices, repeated consistently over time. And here's the best part. You don't need to announce it to the world. You don't need to post about your detox, your boundaries, or your self-care. You can simply begin silently, powerfully for yourself. So as you finish this section, I invite you to reflect. What's one small, energy-draining habit you can release this week? What's one new habit you can bring in to nourish your mind and body? Because peace isn't something we stumble upon. It's something we build, one quiet, intentional choice at a time. And there you have it, 8 powerful things you can start eliminating today to create more peace in your life. Remember, peace isn't something that just happens to us. It's something we build, slowly, quietly, and intentionally, through the choices we make every single day. When you start letting go of the need to explain yourself, when you release people who drain you, when you stop fearing disappointment, and when you break free from negative habits, you open up space for something truly beautiful: clarity, freedom, and calm. But here's the most important part I want you to take away today. You don't have to change everything overnight. You don't have to announce it to the world. You can begin in silence, in small moments, and over time those quiet shifts will transform your life. If you've made it this far, thank you. Truly thank you for spending this time with me and for being open to these lessons. It takes real courage to look at your own life and ask, where am I getting in my own way? What can I release to make room for peace? I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 8 resonated with you the most? Which one are you ready to start working on today? Drop a comment below. I read every single one, and I'd love to know what spoke to you. If you found this video helpful, it would mean a lot if you gave it a like, subscribed to the channel, and maybe even shared it with someone you care about. It's a small gesture, but it helps me keep creating more content like this for you. Until next time, take a deep breath, be kind to yourself, and remember, peace isn't found in the noise. It's found in the quiet strength of your own choices. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.